here is the news at 4 first. The highlights. Lagos State Governor presents official vehicles to directors and public service. Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority decries insufficient aircraft capacity amid growing demand. On the foreign scene, Sudan orders foreigners to leave Khartoum. And Sport Handball Federation of Nigeria releases 18-player list ahead Women's Under-18 World Championship. Now the details. I'm Taiwo Baruwa. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has presented official vehicles to directors in the Lagos State Public Service. The presentation is part of the government effort to increase productivity, motivate staff, and ensure that Lagosians get better service delivery in all areas. Speaking during the presentation at the State Secretariat at Alausa, Governor Sanwo-Olu said the occasion marked a significant milestone in the present administration's commitment to excellence efficiency. Sanwo-Olu, who was represented by the Lagos State Head of Service, Bode Aguru, also said the presentation is in line with the state government's commitment to ensuring more efficiency. Secretary, Lagos State Staff, Housing and Loans Board, Abdul Rafiu Fashola, while responding on behalf of the directors, expressed appreciation and heartfelt gratitude to Governor Sanwo-Olu for the official vehicles. Fashola promised more dedication and better performance by all recipients of the vehicles. It will interest you to know that not all directors got vehicles, as those who received the official vehicles were the ones who won during the ballot organized by the Office of the Head of Service. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has approved the redeployment of some permanent secretaries in the state to new postings effective Monday, July 15. In a statement, the Head of Service, Bode Aguru, urged the affected permanent secretaries to prepare and leave a detailed handover note with the most senior officer of their previous MDAs. The affected permanent secretaries are Abiola Kushegbe, formerly at the Office of Political, Legislative and Civic Engagement, now redeployed to Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, while Shalabomi Shashore, formerly at the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, was redeployed to Office of Political, Legislative and Civic Engagement. Mrs. Ololade Aino, formerly Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Home Affairs, has been redeployed to the Ministry of Waterfront Infrastructure Development. Kehinde Gbajúmọ̀, formerly of Ministry of Waterfront Infrastructure Development, now redeployed to the Cabinet Office. Also, Adeomi Ogunsoya, who was formerly Permanent Secretary, Cabinet Office, was redeployed to the Ministry of Home Affairs. The Head of Service noted that in addition to their new roles, the permanent secretaries have been assigned to oversee additional agencies until substantive permanent secretaries are appointed. Sheson Wundeko, who is presently the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations, is to oversee the Primary Health Care District 4. While Abimbola Bowale, who is the Permanent Secretary, Audit Service Commission, is to oversee the Primary Health Care Board. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, and the Nigerian Guild of Editors, NGE, have pledged to intensify efforts to combat growing malnutrition and polio in Nigeria. At a meeting in Lagos, the collaboration was reinforced by Diamond Award for Media Excellence as the three organizations vowed to leverage their expertise and influence to protect children. UNICEF's nutrition manager, Prosper Dokura, noted the need for state to provide counterpart funding to Access Child Nutrition Fund, CNF, saying this fund is crucial in the fight against malnutrition, which threatens approximately 9 million children under 5 years in Nigeria. President of NGE, Nze Anaba, who said poverty, an underlying factor, worsens the spread of diseases and hinders healthcare access, highlighted the dire need in various regions, including Southeast, conflicts further complicate health interventions. Now to the rest of the stories. The Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, has raised concerns about the insufficient aircraft capacity to meet the growing demand for domestic air services in Nigeria. NCAA Acting Director General Chris Najomo made this known in Abuja during a courtesy visit by the Executive Council of the National Association of Nigeria Travel Agency, NANTA, led by its president, Yinka Folami. He stated the need to urgently bridge the gaps, reduce fares, and encourage high-quality service by attracting more investment into the domestic airline market. According to Najomo, addressing these gaps to manage the increase in domestic air traffic will require the involvement of investors and key operators with the necessary capacity and technical expertise. Najomo assured that the Ministry of Aviation is in talks with aircraft manufacturers to support investors in the domestic airline industry in addressing capacity gaps and facilitating the growth of Nigerian flag carriers on international routes. President Bola Tinubu has named the National Art Theatre in Igomu, Lagos, after Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka. The president announced this in a letter he wrote to celebrate the iconic figure in commemoration of his 90th birthday, saying the edifice will now be called the Wole Soyinka Center for Culture and the Creative Arts. He said Soyinka is a colossus, a true Renaissance person, blessed with innumerable talent, who remains the shining light of Nigeria. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has congratulated literary giant and Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka on the occasion of his 90th birthday, describing him as a patriot and Nigeria and Africa's pride. Soyinka, the recipient of the 1986 Nobel Prize in Literature and the first sub-Saharan Africa to be honored in that category, will clock 90 on Saturday, July 13. Governor Sanwo-Olu, in a congratulatory message issued by his special advisor on media and publicity, Gbega Koshile, said the playwright, poet, and essayist is worthy of all celebrations as a Nigerian advocate of good governance, voice of the voiceless, and one of Nigeria's biggest exports to the world. He said the Nobel laureate is a quintessential scholar and literary icon, has issued his position and experience to contribute positively to literature, academics, and governance, not only in Nigeria and Africa, but globally. Governor Sanwo-Olu also praised the celebrant for his commitment to democratic government, commending the crucial role the playwrights played in the dark days of the military junta for the restoration of democratic governance in Nigeria in 1999. In foreign news now, Sudanese security authorities have ordered all foreigners to leave the capital, Khartoum, and the surrounding region. A statement from the section of the police dealing with foreigners says they have 2 weeks to do so for their own safety amid the fights in the still raging between government troops and the Rapid Support Forces, RSF militia. Hostility towards foreigners, especially those from other African countries, has been on the rise following a report of foreign mercenaries in the RSF ranks. A bloody power struggle has been raging in Sudan for more than a year between the facto ruler Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and his former deputy Mohammed Hamdan Daglo. According to the UN, the conflict has caused almost 10 million people to flee their homes and risk famine in the country. In sport now, the Handball Federation of Nigeria, HFN, has announced the names of 18 players who will represent the country at the International Handball Federation IHF Women's Under-18 World Championship in Suzhou, China. The tournament is scheduled to hold from August 14 to 25. Nigeria will feature as one of the 4 African representatives after earning a spot from the Africa Women's Under-18 Handball Nations Cup in monarchs to Tunisia in 2023. The list comprises a blend of experienced and emerging players poised to raise the country's flag high. And that's it on the news at 4. But just before we go, your vehicle is not a strong room. Please keep your valuables out of view of miscreant. You can follow us and like on our various social media platforms: X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs live on YouTube at Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website on www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that's the Sanwo-Olu administration provided 450,000 pupils with e-learning devices? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. The Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, has raised concerns about the insufficient aircraft capacity to meet the growing demand for domestic air services in Nigeria. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has presented official vehicles to directors in the Lagos State Public Service. We also told you the Sudanese security authorities have ordered all foreigners to leave the capital, Khartoum, and the surrounding region. Finally, in sports, the Handball Federation of Nigeria, HFN, has announced the names of 18 players who will represent the country at the International Handball Federation IHF Women's Under-18 World Championship in Shenzhen, China. For contacts with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Adewale Oluporoku. I am Taiwo Baruwa. Thank you for listening. Good afternoon and welcome to the return trip.